Greetings and welcome to episode 273 of the Words About Games podcast, a weekly news and culture discussion podcast for Words About Games. I'm your host, Amy K. Alexander, and I am joined just by Moody this week.
It's Sunday. You know what that means.
No, Joseph
It's Monday,
and
I
Kyle.
meant, not Sunday.
I'm not redoing
it. How is everybody? I hope all is well. I'm talking to everybody. I'm talking to the world. The citizens of the nerdy world, Amy.
Citizens of the nerdy world.
Unite.
You kind of liked that game, didn't you?
Not at all.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all.
I'm just sitting here pre-show telling you Deathloop isn't going to be my game of the year. With a PlayStation light in the background and a PlayStation water bottle in my hand.
But you're still saying it's a good game, no?
Oh, it's still a good game.
Yeah. That's all that matters.
I'm enjoying playing it. There's too many games, though. There's too many games. I'm paralyzed.
Yeah, about to cut them out, like.
I'm paralyzed by the fear, Moody. I'm playing Deathloop, and I'm really liking it. But what if I've picked wrong? What if there was a game that I would have liked more?
I don't know what to do for you then.
I'm paralyzed by that thought constantly. It's like there's like 20 games or whatever, and I'm like, oh God, how do I choose? How do I know without knowing which one is going to be my favorite?
That is true.
What if I skip an entire game that I would otherwise have been like, this is the best game ever?
That is true.
How do you make those decisions?
You just gotta roll with it, Amy.
I make Twitter polls and stuff. I'm just like, I take it out of my hands entirely. I'm just like, nope, I'm not making this decision. And if it goes wrong, I can blame everybody else.
Well, the ones who voted for the game that you play for.
That's true. No, I vote for and the people who voted for the other game that I'm not playing because you guys didn't campaign hard enough for the other game.
I voted, so I did. Campaigned hard enough. Amy.
Why didn't you convince everybody else to vote too? Convince all your friends. And then I could be sitting here playing Tales of Arise, having the exact same thoughts going, well, what if Deathloop? Better.
I know, it could have been. It could have been, Amy. But Deathloop is getting, we're hearing nothing but great things, so that's good.
I'm just
inviting you. Interesting review on Thursday, I see.
I'm just inviting you into my
your world,
scattered thought
into
processes.
Your brain.
No one should ever have this kind of peek into the inner workings of my mind, because
that's true. Like,
well, I mean, you've just seen why no one should ever have a glimpse into my mind.
That's true. It's dangerous territory. Dangerous territory, indeed.
It's so dangerous. Oh my God, it's dangerous for me. How are you?
I'm not bad. I've completed Life is Strange 2 again. No, True Colors again. I love that game, Amy. I really do.
We spent 2 hours talking about it.
Yeah.
The other night.
Non-spoiler and spoiler. Spoiler review will be sometime next week, I think you said.
Tuesday. Should be Tuesday. So cool. Tomorrow.
So tomorrow, as of this recording. It's in my head a lot right now, and I'm really enjoying that.
I love when a game gets in your head like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm loving about it. It's in my head, and I'm just like, oh God, I'm gonna spend too much stuff on their merchandise, and I know
Here comes the merch.
Oh no!
Well, I mean,
so Moody, what's this bill? I said, no, what bill? Nothing. There's no bill at all. I don't know what you're talking about.
Bills? Bill? I don't know who Bill is.
I don't know a Bill. I've never met a Bill.
I don't know any Bills. I mean, I've got my wallpaper now, so
that is amazing. That is an amazing one. I was tempted to nick that one as well, but I thought, nah, I'm gonna keep with the one I've got, which is Gabe and Alex. So, but I can see myself switching it eventually.
Fair enough. I'm for a run today.
I know what you said.
I can't sum it up any better than the text I sent Amy at some point afterwards, which was, I feel like I'm going to puke and or die. It was a horrible experience. Like, it was fine. Like, so I ran and I was like knackered afterwards, and that was fine. Like, expected. And then I felt pretty good, you know, like once I could like breathe again, I felt pretty good. But it was like the experience of actually running around here was horrible. For starters, I didn't realize I didn't have any running shoes, so I had to go running in my normal trainers. I felt every step of the pavement all the way around for 1.5 miles. So my shins really hurt now. And there's hills everywhere around here. Like, you can't avoid them. So like a couple of times I was like jogging up a hill, like
You're jogging while climbing.
I've got this Couch to 5K app, so like the Couch to 5K coach was now jogging. I was like, no, please, no, don't make me do this. And then I was like, a dog ran at me, like this dog that was about this big. I swear to God, it was this tiny little dog, and it ran at me towards my legs, and I was like, this isn't gonna end well for either of us. My dog owner was like, no, stop, whatever the name was, come back. I was like, please listen to her. And there was an old couple that wouldn't get out the way while I was jogging towards them, and it was just like, oh, God.
That's a dog.
Running. Am I right?
Running is so overrated.
It'd be great if I could just go and there was nobody out, but there's always somebody out. I'm not going to go running in the dark. That would be a terrible idea. I'm not going to go in the early morning because I can't get up that early.
And he's like, what is this time? This is weird.
Oh my God, like sunrise. Just go running at sunrise. Just like, I'd make it.
He walked out.
I'd make it like to the end of my street, I think, and then I'd just be like, well, that's enough running for one day. But Amy, you haven't even started yet. You're just doing your warm-up walk. Shut up.
Yeah, don't worry. Don't trust me. Just trust me. I did it.
It still counts. It still counts.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry, shape.
Isn't the world? Like, no wonder the world's dying, because it's like it has to hold 7 billion people on it, and like some of those 7 billion people are severely overweight, so it doesn't help. I'm one of them people, so don't worry. I'm not fat shaming. I'm a fat person myself, and
not
my goodness.
overweight, cuddly.
I'm cuddly, yeah. I'm big boned.
You're big boned and I'm cuddly.
Yeah, you're big. Yeah.
I'm squishy. I'm squishy everywhere. It's great. No matter where you go.
I won't lie, but these aren't by choice.
No matter where you go, it's going to be comfortable. It's going to be like lying on a pillow. Shit.
Of course.
Should we talk about some video game stuff?
Yeah, why not? Let's do this.
Should we tell people that we're a Monday podcast now?
Yeah.
We didn't have a chance to really do it last week because we had two amazing special
all we
guests.
told last week was we fired Foxes because he's a smeghead. And
Wow.
that's all.
Interesting energy you brought to that.
Because obviously we had the amazing Joseph Moran and Kyle Stevenson from the Trophy Room, the PlayStation podcast, by the players, for the players.
Yeah, unlike the console. Whoa!
Play has limits.
Play has limits. Turns out Play has plenty of limits.
When I see that advert, because I saw it in the cinema lately, and I was just like, that's a bald-faced lie. You have limits. You were just like...
No, yeah, we didn't tell anyone. We're a Monday podcast now.
Yes.
We publish on Mondays. But we didn't tell anyone last week because, well, Joe and Kyle were here, and we just kind of wanted to vibe with them as much as possible. So,
and we vibed very
vibed.
much.
Twas great. But even on Mondays,
It was great.
There are still timestamps below the video in the description on YouTube and wherever you get your audio podcasts, be that on Anchor, Spotify, Google, Apple, Orange, Pineapple, Banana, Boomerang. It's going to be one of those podcasts, isn't it?
Hell yeah.
Oh, no.
Come on.
I just edited a video together of most amazing Phasmophobia ghost hunt ever, so I'm like,
I can't wait to see that.
I'm not in a particularly serious mood right now.
Neither am I, but it's interesting that the first topic is a serious topic.
Susan Smith. Who's called Susan?
Find out next week.
Find
the
out.
Incredible adventures of highlight
Because
streams.
because I realized I've got to do the big one from last month before I do this one. Otherwise, the joke of like the death of the party member isn't as funny.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, let's move on. We should get serious pretty quickly here. With news story number 1. Activision, actually this is pretty funny. Activision Blizzard workers accuse company of union busting and intimidation. Not the union busting and intimidation, the fact that Activision Blizzard's getting sued again. That's funny. This is from Lorenzo Franceschi Bicciari over at Vice Waypoint. He writes, Activision and Blizzard workers are accusing the company of intimidation and union busting in a charge filed with the National Labour Relations Board. The workers argue that, quote, Activision Blizzard management is using coercive tactics to attempt to prevent its employees from exercising their rights to stand together and demand a more equitable, sustainable, and diverse workplace, end quote, according to a press release sent to reporters on Tuesday. The workers have filed an unfair labour practice charge with the NLRB against the company on Friday. The Communications Workers of America's campaign to organise digital employees are supporting the Activision Blizzard workers. In the charging document, the workers alleged, quote, that within the last 6 months, the above-named employer has repeatedly engaged in unlawful conduct by threatening employees and told employees they cannot communicate with or discuss ongoing investigations of wages, hours, and working conditions, maintained an overly broad social media policy, enforced the social media policy against employees who have engaged in protected concerted activity, threatened or disciplined employees on account of protected concerned activity, engaged in surveillance of employees engaged in protected concerted activity, and engaged in interrogation of employees about protected concerted activity, end quote. The accusation comes after the state of California sued the gaming giant in July for fostering a frat boy workplace culture and for being, quote, a breeding ground for harassment, end quote, especially against women employees. In the days following the lawsuit, hundreds of workers walked out in protest and have been outspoken on Twitter. Activision Blizzard workers have organised as ABK Workers Alliance under the Twitter handle @BetterABK, which stands for Activision Blizzard King. King is the mobile games company behind the Candy Crush saga Activision acquired in 2016. The group tweeted that, quote, if the NLRB rules in our favour, the ruling will be retroactive, and we will set a precedent that no worker in the US can be intimidated out of talking about forced arbitration, end quote. A current Activision Blizzard employee who asked to remain anonymous as they feared retaliation said that some employees have recently been told their performance was not up to par by their lead, even though they had been doing well. Quote, we think since they're being so outspoken, leadership is trying to get rid of them, end quote, the employee said, adding that the person in question had been outspoken in internal company channels. As a result of these tactics, the employee said, quote, I've noticed some people have gone completely silent or even quit the company and the games industry altogether. We've seen retaliation already, so I'm scared, end quote. The employee said the mood among colleagues and other workers who are part of the alliance has been hopeful for change, but that they don't think it will come from leadership. Quote, they're keeping us in the dark, end quote. Another current employee said, quote, that Blizzard has been hemorrhaging people, end quote, in the last few weeks, referring to employees quitting the company in the wake of harassment allegations. A third current employee told Motherboard, quote, I'm so glad to see the CWA supporting and protecting my co-workers from these coercive and isolating tactics. It is important that people know their rights and that they have the ability to enforce those rights. People should not fear for their jobs because they are speaking up to be treated with humanity, end quote. Activision Blizzard did not respond to a request for comment, shocker. CWA did not respond to an email requesting more details about the accusations against Activision Blizzard.
Hemorrhaging stuff.
Hemorrhaging stuff.
A surprise. And going off what the brief glimpses that I saw online, apparently today's Call of Duty is not in a great shape, which will not be surprised if it actually is broken when it comes out. Either way, this, of course, Activision Blizzard are going to get sued by their staff. They're going to get sued because they're trying to stop them from unionizing by hiring the unionization busters. Though I can't remember what the law firm's called. The Union Buster. That's their advert. That's their actual advert.
We're ready to believe
we'll get you. By using an 80s. We'll get you by using your nostalgia to like us. Oh God, we're giving them free advertising. No, yeah, this is not a surprise whatsoever. Like I've heard myself that there does seem like a lot of staff are leaving Activision Blizzard or Activision in general, which is not a surprise. Activision, we've called you out. We've told you many, many times you need to get your shit together. And I hope all the people who have left land on their feet. If this thing has made you go, I don't want to be in the industry anymore, I'm sad for you, but I also understand that you just need to get out. I did that with my old job I was in the industry. I was like, I need to get out of it. It's a toxic workplace. I need to find some more freedom in my life. And I chose games industry for some weird reason.
Good choice.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like, I hope you all land on your feet and Activision again. Do better.
Well, they're doing exactly what they were always going to do.
We knew they were going to do.
Oh yeah, big stuff. Just like they're doing what any company does in situations such as this, where it's just like, look, we're not trying to fire you because you're outspoken about how shit it is to work here. We're just saying that your performance recently has been poor. It's completely unrelated. I've heard that so many times. Like I've seen that happen so many times. Like
I was said to admit, I smell shit right now.
It's like,
do you smell it? I think it's coming out of your mouth.
Do you smell that? It kind of smells like a little bitch. Yeah, and all the other stuff. Threatening to discipline employees, engaging in surveillance, engaging in interrogation, enforcing social media policies. Yeah. Employees cannot communicate with or discuss ongoing investigations of wages, hours, and working conditions. Bullshit. One of the many things I have learned from these lawsuits is that it is against the law to stop people from discussing their wages in the state of California. So, you know. But like Activision Blizzard, like, it's like one of the biggest companies in America, right? So they can do whatever they want.
Very much, yeah. They'll slap this in legality for years and years and years, where they won't care by the end of it.
Oh no, because Call of Duty Vanguard's still going to come out in November and sell 1 billion copies, right?
Even though it'll be broken. Probably.
Diablo 2 Remastered's coming out in a week, less than, and that's gonna sell 1 billion copies as well.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of Diablo.
Fuck you, Activision Blizzard.
Continued annoying Activision segue.
Continuing with the Activision Blizzard news that most people on YouTube and won't touch anymore because they have apparently had their say and the situation has not developing at all ever. It's a static situation, which is not moving. Diablo 2 Resurrected dev says players that should, quote, do what they feel is right when it comes to buying the game. This is from Vicky Black over at Eurogamer. He writes, Diablo 2 Resurrected director says players should do what they feel is right when deciding whether or not to support publisher Activision Blizzard by buying the remake when it goes on sale next week. It's the first game the company has released since allegations of a frat boy work culture at Activision Blizzard were made by the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing, although it's important to note that the lead developer here is Vicarious Visions, which has not been involved nor implicated in a legal complaint. Quote, it was definitely very troubling to hear these types of things, design director Rob Gallerini told Axios. And we really wanted to support our colleagues and our co-workers, end quote. Gallerani added that the studio's management had invited employees to feedback on how it can better support its staff, adding that while it had, quote, heard a lot of really positive things, it was important that management always need to keep asking, end quote. Interestingly, while the controversy has seen Blizzard scour its games for problematic content, such as references to former employees who have been implicated in the sexual harassment lawsuit, no such issues were reportedly found in Diablo 2 Resurrected, although its Amazon warrior has been tweaked to make it look less sexualized. Quote, a lot of those points of view weigh very heavily on us, Gallerini said, who made the change to ensure characters looked like warriors and not people who had rolled out of a nightclub, end quote. Yeah, your characters who look like they've just rolled out of a nightclub. Kind of the least of what's on everybody's mind about Activision Blizzard right now.
We'll go on to the initial quote. He's not wrong. I agree with what he's saying there. Yes, if anyone, like you and me, we've decided we're not going to support Activision games or anything like that until they start getting their fingers out of their ass and getting the shit just sorted together, even though we know it's not going to happen. So that means we're never going to touch an Activision game probably for a long time. So yeah, I agree with what he's saying. That yeah, if you don't want to support them, don't support them. If you want to support them, then that's your decision. At the end of the day, I disagree with it, but I will never tell anyone not to play a game.
Yeah, right.
So
it's like we've talked about this in the past on past podcasts because we've talked about this for like 7 weeks now. Like it's not a cut and dry black and white situation, right? Activision Blizzard as a company is awful because of the way it's been managed and the way it's protected abusers and protected people who do horrible things to the people that work there. But the people that work there, like the actual like developers, the rank and file people, like a lot of like the majority of them are cool people, right? Like
yeah.
It's a nuanced situation, like most things are nuanced, right? And just because I'm sitting here going, I'm not touching your games again, sorry, but that's just how I feel. Doesn't necessarily mean that anyone who says the other thing is wrong. The only place I draw the line is where if you like, because again, I think there's a difference between people who make podcasts and content for the internet and people who like write about video games or whatever, and just like normal consumers. Where it's just like, hey, if you want to play Call of Duty when it comes out, you go ahead and you have a fantastic time playing Call of Duty. I hope it's brilliant. And I follow a bunch of the people who have worked on that game on Twitter, and like they're brilliant people.
Yeah.
So it's cool. So that's cool. Like it hurts a little bit to not be supporting Call of Duty this year from that perspective. But also like for us, like it's like, even if I decided I'm going to play Call of Duty and I'm going to review Call of Duty, I'm not going to do so without bringing that under the lens of, by the way, this is Activision. This is the company that made it, right?
We would call it out. We would literally make you aware before we start reviewing the game. They're still under a lawsuit. They have a frat boy culture or toxic work culture where someone killed themselves or took their own life. People, hordes of staff are leaving because of all of these things.
And all we hear from inside the company is it's getting worse. It's getting worse.
Yeah, it's getting worse and worse because they've hired a law firm to try and stop all of these allegations and everything, and to stop the staff to unionize and everything. And yeah, it's a whole thing and everything. Like, I'll never stop anyone. Like, say, if you want to play the game and everything like that. And if you want to stick your head in the sand, stick your head in the sand. I probably just won't speak to you again. I won't lie. If you want to stick your head in the sand,
I mean, if you want to stick your head in the sand, that is your choice. But I'm gonna have some things to say about that.
Yeah. But no, yeah, like Activision, just like I said with Ubisoft last week, it
Both.
has a huge lineage. It is an iconic game developer, and we want to be talking about their games. We want to be supporting their games, but at this moment in time, our morals, for me, I think it's safe as I can say for you as well, Amy. It's just no, we can't. We can't morally do this right now because we would. At the end of the day, I know that a lot of people's arguments is that we want to support the developer. Fine. When the developer actually sees the money, come back to me when it comes to Activision, because they don't really see the money at all.
And
So
if history has taught us anything, a bunch of them are going to get fired in January. So
there's that as well.
regardless of how successful the game is, Activision Blizzard fires fucking shitloads of people. I don't even remember which year it was when we opened a podcast with they were on a financial call and they were like, "Hey, we made a record profit this year, but also we're firing 800 people." That was Activision Blizzard. Guess what?
Yeah.
I totally appreciate you wanting to support the people who make the games, who are awesome. Again, who I will always say are awesome people, but in the long run, it's not really that supportive. It's supportive from a personal level, but not from a professional level. Like you can play a game and support people personally and say, "Look, I'm playing a game," and they can be like, "Yeah, that's really awesome." But like, there's no level above that where it's like, "Well, I'm making sure they don't get fired," because I'm sorry to tell you this, but they're gonna get fired anyway. That's just been the nature of AAA video games for a long time.
And going off from the first story, they're all that I can guarantee you this right now. They are preparing a list for people to be sacked at the beginning of next year, or something, or after the financial call or whatever. And there'll be a lot of them who have called them out.
Oh, be so. Like Activision Blizzard
Guarantee that.
It's doing the thing where it's like, well, we can't sack you. Like, we can't fire you for being an activist.
Because you're not actually breaking any laws in California, the type of thing, yeah.
But if we just decide that your performance is subpar, then we can start the process that will inevitably lead to your dismissal from the company.
Yeah.
Well, we like, regardless of whether this person was talking about us on social media, like their performance wasn't good enough, when actually it was. You found the loophole. Allegedly, I guess I should say allegedly.
Will be allegedly when it hits next year.
Till then, allegedly until about end of January.
Yeah.
I had something else I wanted to say as well, but it's gone. Come back. No, it's gone. It's time for me to read some tweets. I didn't do this last week, so I'm going to do 2 weeks worth. Because we didn't have time. Because again, we had the amazing Joseph Moran and Carl Stevenson on the show at Talk PlayStation. Then also we did a Ubisoft news story. But these are the tweets from the A Better Ubisoft Twitter account. Current and former Ubisoft employees demanding real permanent change. It also says in their Twitter bio, tweets do not reflect the opinions of Ubisoft, which, I mean, you didn't need to volunteer that information. I think we could all figure that out. A while ago, over 1,000 current and former Ubisoft employees signed an open letter to Ubisoft management in solidarity with Activision Blizzard walkout, demanding that their own management take more action to end abuse in Ubisoft and the wider industry. Every day since then, they've been tweeting out the reasons people gave for why they've signed the letter, and I thought we should read them on the podcast because I just think we should. And Moody agrees, so here we go. We got a lot to get through this week. Like I said, we didn't do it last week because we didn't have time. Number one, I've seen endless, earnest speeches, polished presentations, and fine promises of change to come, but precious little accountability. The next one reads, during the course of the pandemic, I was living alone, suffered through a bad breakup, missed 2 weddings and 4 funerals. I developed a depression and asked for help from my manager. A day later, I was put essentially on probation into the personal improvement program and was told to go outside more and that my condition isn't helping the team. The next one. I called out my department's VP on a racist comment he made during a team meeting. I sent him a personal email because my last open call out got me in trouble. He told me I misheard, that it wasn't what he meant, and he never apologized. And the next one. I was burnt out and depressed because of my job in the context of the pandemic. A few months later, I was due a promotion based on my years of experience, but it was refused because I expressed too many negative emotions. HR told me to see this feedback as a way to improve my performance. Next. While I was a team lead, my manager was actively bullying someone on my team. When myself and another lead asked HR if the manager could be kept away from my team member, I was told we were being insubordinate by the head of HR. The person who was bullying my team member has since enjoyed 2 further promotions. I was given a team lead position at one point, but whenever I'd try and make things better for my team, I'd be labelled as toxic or difficult simply for advocating on their behalf. At one point, I was told these people are not your friends, which really confirmed to be that it wasn't a safe environment for workers in general. During inclusivity training last year, someone asked the presenter if it was possible to be racist towards a white person. The presenter said yes. I was shocked at the poor quality of the training. Yikes. I've lost count of how many. Tell me when one of them sounds familiar, because I've lost count of how many I've read. I work with an aggressive senior tech art director in Paris. Almost everyone avoids him. He often speaks to people as if they're less important than him. This has been reported multiple times by different people for years, and yet top management keep him in place. We can't accept slow, gradual improvements. We need to act now. Every delay means sacrificing more employees' health to the abusers. Okay, I think we've done. I think we're caught up. The next ones definitely sound familiar. Then again, it might just be because I read these things all the time. Like, it's not the first time I'm reading them, so.
No doubt about that.
The situation in Ubisoft, that there still hasn't been any response to the letter from Ubisoft management. The situation in Ubisoft hasn't visibly improved in any way. In the past few weeks or the past year. So Far Cry 6 is coming out soon. See what happens when that comes out.
Yeah. Yep.
Let's move on.
Do better, Ubisoft. Just do better, man. Jesus. Really isn't hard because you're a multi-million-dollar company.
No, it really isn't hard.
You have the finances to sort this pretty fast.
Takes time and money.
It does take time. It takes money. I don't deny that. It doesn't take time.
Not well. Yeah, well, that's a whole discussion we had before. So we can have it again sometime, but not today. Trying to get a podcast under 2 hours for the first time since Activision Blizzard news broke. Do better, Ubisoft. You suck, and you suck for the brilliant people who actually work in your company. Just get rid of the ones who are awful. It sounds like you just keep promoting them. Okay. Returning Paradox CEO apologizes for, quote, incident with female employee. This is from Sean Murray over at The Gamer, who writes, CEO Frederick Wester took to Twitter to address an incident in 2018. It's not funny. Sorry, the story isn't funny, but I said it, like, incident is in quotes both times. And have you seen Star Trek 6? You know, the planet blows up.
The undiscovered country.
Yeah, and Sulu's the captain, and then all the shit happens, and then the Klingon guy's like, "There's been an incident," and he's like, "An incident," and that's what I heard. I heard it in my head the second time as Sulu. Sorry.
Should we tell Starfleet? Are you kidding?
It's a great film. CEO Frederick Wester took to Twitter yesterday to address an incident in 2018 where he exhibited, quote, inappropriate behavior, end quote, with a female employee. However, this incident did not lead to his ousting as Paradox's CEO, as some might have speculated. Wester only just returned recently to the role of CEO at Paradox Interactive after resigning back in 2018. He was replaced by Ebba Lundgard, who resigned her position 2 weeks ago over differing views on the company's strategy going forward. Wester was announced as Lundgard's replacement, coming back in after serving as Paradox's chairman of the board. Soon after Paradox announced its changing of the guard, Swedish tech site Breaker released a bombshell report alleging over half of Paradox staff reported being mistreated at the workplace in an internal survey. Respondents said Paradox had a culture of silence around mistreatment and abuse, mirroring recent reports against other big publishers such as Activision and Ubisoft. Blizzard, that's not right. Such as Ubisoft and Activision. Blizzard. The fuck am I praying to you there? The timing of this report certainly wasn't good for Wester, and the rumours of a 2018 incident swirling Paradox's new CEO felt it was best to set the record straight on social media. Quote, in the wake of the recently leaked survey to the press, there have been rumours and discussions about my role in this environment, citing a specific incident in 2018. In the name of transparency and clarity, I would like to shed light on this. Accountability starts from the top. Beginning of 2018, we held a company-wide conference, and during this gathering, a Paradox employee was subject to inappropriate behaviour from me personally. This was something I immediately and sincerely apologised for in person the following Monday in a process reviewed by HR, end quote. Wester didn't offer any additional details on the incident, only that he is working with a coach and mentor to learn from the incident and improve himself. Wester also said the incident had nothing to do with me, quote, had nothing to do with me resigning as CEO in 2018, something that had been planned for over 6 months at the time it occurred, end quote. Is that it? That's it.
All right. Okay, you've apologized, kinda. But I'm putting quotation marks there when I say that. Well, it says an apology, doesn't it? He apologizes.
This is something I immediately and sincerely apologise for in person. In process, yeah. You can actually apologise on Twitter.
Like, I'm just in my own head. I'm literally thinking like, the person's doing what we've called out on everyone else. You can being called out for doing a terrible thing is something that needs to happen and everything like that. But we're also saying you can learn from it, you can apologize for it, and seek help for it and everything like that. This person is doing this.
Yeah. Yeah. Go on.
He says he's doing it. That's the thing about it. I want to know, is that person still there at that workplace? Not the CEO, I mean the person who
he was
an incident with. And everything like that, because that's the question in general here. Because if she's still there, I can only imagine how she's feeling there. I can literally only imagine. And I'm a pasty white dude here, so I literally I can only imagine. I have nothing working on to say here for it. So I'm like, okay, you've apologized, you're seeking help. Still don't think you should be CEO, mate.
Yeah,
I still don't think he should be CEO. At the end of the day, he was chairman of the board even though after he left the CEO the first time. So I'm just like, you were the boss anyway. So now you've come back to be the boss still. So
I have suffered no negative consequences.
It's like there's no consequences. It's like it feels dirty. Like, okay, you've apologized, you doing these things, but should you actually still be CEO? For me, I would say no.
Probably not. But I mean, he's probably got the chairman of the board sign off. See what I did there? See what I did there? Because he's also the chairman of the board.
Yeah, I know that. I just clicked that.
It's the meme of Barack Obama putting a medal on Barack Obama. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Like, he says, like I said it in our phasmophobia thing I was just editing. Talk is cheap. Like, So like, he
Yeah.
says he's doing all this stuff, but it's like, okay, but what's like? I hope so. Like, I genuinely hope that not only is he doing all of this stuff, but he's also learning and bettering himself from this. But he did still oversee like a company that like he
Had
was
a
in
bad
charge of a
workload.
company that did all this stuff that all where all of this
Yeah.
stuff was going on. So it's like, okay, so you have taken accountability, air quotes, for the one thing that you did wrong. But like, okay, so what about the rest of it? Like all of the other stuff that was going on while you were CEO. Are
Because
you gonna take
he's still negligent.
are you gonna take accountability for any of that? Like, is this a Steve Gaynor situation? Are you just saying things that you need to say now before it comes out
Yeah.
in a report or an article? Because we had this with Steve Gaynor and Fulbright Games a little while ago, who by the way also still works at Fulbright. Um, I just feel like what there's a part of me, right, with all of these stories that we've seen, like Ubisoft, a bunch of people, like some not all, some of the abusers were allowed to resign. At Activision Blizzard, a few top level executives were allowed to resign. Here, we've got we know of one specific person in Paradox Interactive who had an incident with a female employee. We don't know what the incident was or how serious it was. And they were allowed to stay on at the company and then come back as the company's CEO a few years later. Like, what does it
Yeah.
take for people to have consequences for their actions in this regard?
It's very dirty.
Because so far I see no consequences for anyone other than the victims.
Yeah.
And you know what? Cool. If this guy is totally like working to better himself, cool. If fucking it's just the fucking pitch that this is what it took for him to like get coaching and mentoring and better himself, like. And
He's only doing it because he got caught.
air quotes.
That's the
Yeah.
thing.
Oh shit! Sorry, I got caught, or I was about to get caught. Like, what's it gonna take for some consequences?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. Like,
For perpetrators or not the victims. Again, the victims have a lot of consequences to deal with.
like I can appreciate for everybody. Like, I want to get into the industry. I want to look like actively trying to find a job and everything. But like, I'm very careful with who I research the company and see if there's anything happening or anything like that. Like, I'm always doing that. It also helps that I'm a part of this podcast because Amy keeps me up to date to a lot of things of it as well. So, but I like I said, I research a lot of it, and I'm like, like I could have applied for like Ubisoft Reflections.
Yeah.
I'm not going with it because I don't want to. I'm like, I'm not going to work in a toxic work culture because my mouth will not stay quiet, and I will be out of a job within a week and everything. But
It's true.
yeah,
I can
it's
never get
like
him to shut up.
that's true. But no, it's. I can appreciate, like I was saying, like I appreciate people want to find a job and get in the industry and everything like that. But also do the research. You may have an affinity with this developer and or love towards this developer, but make sure it's the right place for you because you could get hurt, you could. For God's sakes, man, going back to the Activision thing, you could literally take your life, and I don't wish that for anybody. Like, just be careful what job you're trying to find here, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone. And make sure that the standards are getting kept and that standards are moving forward. And if you go and work for this guy, make sure that he's actually doing the things he's saying. Just be careful out there, man.
Speaking of be careful out there. How do you think about rethink the way I structure these podcasts?
I literally have a picture of my favorite game up right now, and I'm like, just look at that.
Okay.
It makes you smile.
It's a good idea. It's
Just look at your phone screen.
I'm fine.
Oh
I'm back, baby.
yeah.
I'm back, baby. Anti-women, anti-black, anti-Asian harassment growing in online games. This is from Brandon Sinclair over at GamesIndustry.biz, who writes, 2021 saw a significant uptick in certain types of harassment in online game spaces, according to a new survey from the Anti-Defamation League conducted in cooperation with Newzoo. The survey covered more than 2,200 US gamers up to the age of 45 who play online multiplayer games, nearly 550 of them between the ages of 13 and 17. While 99% of respondents said they had some form of positive social experience while playing online games, it was clear for many their experiences were not uniformly positive. 83% of the adults said they had been harassed while playing online in the past 6 months, while 60% of the teen cohort said the same. The common form of identity-based harassment was aimed at women, just as it was in the previous years the ADL ran such a survey. However, the percentage of people reporting that harassment rose from 41% of women last year to 49% this year. Other groups seeing a surge in identity-based harassment were black gamers, 42% this year compared to 31% last year, and Asian players, 38%, up from 26%. The identity-based harassment occurred despite 37% of people from protected groups saying they always hide their identity when playing online, and another 37% saying they do sometimes. As for which games fostered the most problems, Valorant and Dota 2 topped the list for the second straight year, with 79% and 78% of players respectively reporting harassment in the game. Minecraft was the game with the least percentage of players reporting harassment, but even then, it was an experience shared by 46%. I was well ahead of the next lowest title for harassment, Rocket League, which made strides in dropping the percentage of players experiencing harassment from 76% last year to 59% last year. The percentage of players who reported quitting playing certain games because of disruptive player behaviour also increased for the second straight year, up to 27% from last year's 22%. Valorant and Call of Duty shared the title for driving the most players away, with 42% of players of each game saying they either became more careful or stopped playing them entirely because of the behaviour they'd experienced in the games. The survey also reported growing instances of doxing and swatting. Last year, 13% of respondents said they were doxed and 12% said they were swatted. This year, the numbers were 22% and 20%. 20% of the people that responded to this survey got swatted. 1 in 5. Turn them all off. There we go. Problem solved. Just turn all the online games off. It's not worth it. Holy shit.
Yeah, really, this is the dark side of the web, ladies and gentlemen. Everyone,
Gaming.
This is disgusting. This is vile. And what the worst thing is about it, it's
getting worse.
You've got content creators out there who are literally pushing this type of agenda, basically. Who will put and there's no consequences for them. There's none of that or anything. You've got people, and it just makes it go worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And everybody should be allowed to play video games and enjoy the world they want to play in, for God's sakes, and not get harassed. Video games are for you to lose yourself in and enjoy yourself, absorb the world, and you're getting shouted at and belittled and called worse than bloody, well, I can only imagine the words they could bloody saying. And come on, man. Like, video games is one of the best mediums in the world, but it's also one of the most worst mediums in the world. How can it be this? Like, the internet. You suck. But either way, yeah, I'll say what you said. Turn the buggers off.
Turn them off.
Turn them off.
Just turn them off. That's it. It was a good run. We had a good run, but no one's fixing this. No one's solving this. It's getting worse. We have now the statistics that say, hey, this is a problem that was bad before, and now all of the numbers have gone up. So, like, what's the solution here? Like, oh, well, it's just the internet. You've got to expect some of that. No, I'm sick of that. I'm sick of that, like, excuse from people on the internet where it's like, well, that's just the way the internet is. You just got to prepare yourself for that kind of thing. I mean, for starters, the person saying that doesn't have to prepare themselves for shit. But, like, We do. Like I have to brace myself every time I start a stream. I don't play video games. I don't play multiplayer games with people like in general. Like I play with a group of people, like because I know that I'm gonna get a good experience out of that. That I'm not gonna get otherwise. Because if I play with random people on the internet, shit's gonna go down. Like
It was
fucking hell.
literally the worst.
I reviewed what was it? I reviewed in 2019, I think it was, Dauntless when it came out on Xbox. I think it was either 2019 or 2020, I can't remember, and I was editing together the footage that I had for the review, and like I just caught it as I was editing it. It's like because Dauntless has a chat box in the bottom left hand corner of the screen, and there was just a bunch of racist abuse on one of the clips that I was using. Like I hadn't seen it because the chat box I didn't know it was there. Like I'm just gonna say I didn't look at it. I didn't know it was there. But like I caught it on the when I was re-going through the. If you actually click on the Dauntless review on the Words About Games channel on YouTube, you'll see I've got a picture. I've got a thing in front of the chat box with an explanation as to why I've covered it up. And it's just like so even when someone's not engaging within the social aspects of the game and they're just there to stab monsters in Dauntless, for example, like it's still there. It's being spewed on everything everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's in games developers and publishers' best interests to fix this because as we got the number at the bottom here, 27% of players who reported quitting playing certain games because of disruptive player behavior.
And that number's only going to keep going up.
Like people stop playing COD and Valorant and yeah, like Valorant and Call of Duty share the title for driving the most players away, with 42% of players of each game saying they either became more careful or stopped playing them entirely because of the behavior they'd experienced in games. Like, developers and publishers should be, like, working around, like, not around the clock, that's a bad turn of phrase. They should be working incredibly hard to fix this anyway, just because it's wrong, and they need to stop it. But, like, if you want to talk from a fucking cold, hard cash perspective, you're losing players over this. So fucking sort it the fuck out, for fuck's sake. Or just turn the fucking things off. It's not worth it.
Not worth it.
Private servers only. But then it's like, but then you know, it's and I'm joking. I'm obviously joking because obviously people use online gaming for all sorts of reasons, for their mental health, for keeping connected with people, if it's just feeling like they're staying connected in a world, you know, like people who are isolated, people who are distanced from everyone. It's obviously turn them off isn't a solution, but like the idea that someone could be like in a bad place mentally, playing one of their favorite games because they just need to let out some steam, let off like whatever they need to do to like affect their mental health positively, and to like run head first into abuse because quote that's just the way it is, end quote. That's wrong on every level.
Yep. Spot on.
Yeah. All right. Let's keep going. Hold on.
Want to look at your phone before you get a smile? Looking at the screen. Looking at the screen. Yeah, let's get to it. Let's do this.
This one's funny, so we can laugh about this one. God of War dev says writing is, quote, always political. This is from James Troughton over at The Gamer. He writes, quote, "You made it political. As a writer, your job is to tell stories that are compelling and relatable," end quote. God of War Ragnarok's narrative director Matt Sof has stated, quote, You bring pieces of yourself to stories and your opinions shine through. So writing is always political. It's just usually only called that if the politics aren't agreed with," end quote. God of War Ragnarok's first trailer sparked some online discourse around fat shaming and racism. It was a packed weekend. That's exactly the kind of tone I would have had if I was writing an article like this. Sorry, I appreciate that, James. A host of very vocal gamers were riled up enough to grab pitchforks or other keyboards before frantically leaving comments about their outrage toward the fact that Angry Border is black and Thor is fat. As Matt Sofa said, quote, "Woo, mute button got a workout this weekend." Angry Border in our game is a young black woman. The vast majority of players are thrilled and think she looks incredible, and boy does she, but a tiny vocal sliver of the internet was offended at this notion. End quote. There's an end quote there. The thinly veiled racism was pushed through under the guise of inaccuracy to the source material, but Sophus addressed this complaint. He stated that God of War is a series that has always taken liberties with its depiction of mythological characters. For instance, Brock talks like a foul-mouthed Texas prospector. Mimir is Scottish and tied to a character from English folklore, specifically from one of Shakespeare's plays, while Loki is quarter Greek demigod. Quote, "It's not accurate to Norse mythology and doesn't respect the culture. Who boy, the big one." Let me start with this. God of War is our interpretation of mythology, not history, Norse or Greek. We've constantly taken mythological characters and given them our own spin, so if the colour of Angraboda's skin is where you draw the line at how respectful we've been, it's probably worth some self-examination, end quote. So we hit on this last week a little bit while we were talking about the PlayStation showcase, and I read Matt Sophus's Twitter thread, and I was like, I wanted to find it and put it in here because I felt like it just deserved being read aloud.
Yeah,
it's a cool thread. Angry Border looks fucking awesome, and so does Thor. Fuck anyone that disagrees.
Shout out though to Matt. Like I say, he's kept us calm very much on like 9 times out of 10. I might have just gone off and say, "Shut up, you white privileged racist." Uncultured beep. I might have just done that, but he kept his head and just went, "We take liberties. We're allowed to take liberties. You may not agree with said liberties, but that's you, not me," type of thing.
Yeah.
You should have a look at probably just look at a self-examination of yourself. Look in the mirror, you bigoted assholes. She looks amazing. When I saw her, I was thinking, "You look awesome." And then when I saw Fat Four, I was thinking, "You look awesome." And I love the IGN article of they spoke to a weightlifter.
Yeah.
And I was just like, and he's like, "That's what he probably would have looked like." And I'm just like, "Yes, get in there."
Yeah, I mean, we discussed it last week with, I think me and Kyle had a bit of a back and forth about it. Sorry, when I say back and forth, I don't mean we were arguing. I mean, we were just nerding out because we're mythology nerds. That's what Thor would have looked like, guys. Like, being fat in
those days,
and karate chop on your microphone. Being fat in those days was a sign of power. So, and like Thor is fucking Thor. He's like the god of thunder. Like, he was one of the most powerful beings in Norse mythology. So, as for the Angry Border thing, it's just like, I mean, yeah, it's like, one, they can do whatever the fuck they want. It's a fictional video game. Two, if that's where you draw the line, you remember meeting the World Serpent last time, right? I got some news for you about whether the World Serpent really existed or not. The answer is no, the World Serpent does not exist. That's what a myth is. It's not real. Like the Bible.
Let's just be frank here. Let's just be honest here. Yo, you white privileged racist sons of bitches. Guess who plays Kratos?
I know, right?
It ain't a white dude. It ain't a white dude.
It's not. No, you're right.
And he does it awesomely. So shut up.
He's incredible.
Because Teal'c will kapla your ass. No, that's Klingon. He will.
Kree. That was the Stargate
Kree.
one.
He will Kree your ass. Good God. Oh.
It's just... The problem is, Moody, there's a million different... Like, when someone starts, like, screeching racism or sexism or homophobia or whatever that they're going on about, like, there's a million and one different ways that you can just say no because X, Y, Z. But, like, that's not the point of them doing it. So, it is a waste of time. like Matt Sophus engaged them in the best way he knew how, and a massive shout out to the line. It's not. It's just like writing is always political. It's just usually only called that if the politics aren't agreed with, because that is so fucking true. It hurts. People disagree and call it political because it's a thing they don't agree with. Like I was watching H Bomber Guys. I was watching H Bomber Guy's Fallout New Vegas video recently because, as discussed between myself and Moody, I don't watch films and TV shows. I watch YouTube video essays about video games that are 5 hours long. And there was a point where he was talking about the politics of Fallout New Vegas, and he was talking about Disco Elysium, and I'll try and paraphrase the quote from the video where it was just like, "Oh, I've done a survey, and like people say they don't like politics in games, but I've done a survey, and it says that politics in video games is always great, and people who say they don't like them actually like them more than than other people. They just don't like it when it's not their politics."
Facts. Absolutely facts.
Because it turns out a video game that has a lot to say about something, it turns out they're the best ones, Moody. It's mind-blowing.
Facts.
God of War was one of the best games of the PS4 generation. It had a lot to say about the idea of fatherhood, the idea of family, and toxic masculinity. And cool Norse gods, monsters, and fights. That fight at the beginning with Baldur.
It was bad. When I went straight into that, I was thinking, wait, we're getting to a battle right after battle? Hey, oh God, why do I not feel like I'm winning here?
Why do I feel like he's just taunting me? Oh, he is taunting me. Oh, shit. He just threw me. He just threw me over the house. That was a great scene. But yeah, like, God of War was about more than just Kratos getting mad and stabbing people. Sorry if you hadn't noticed.
This is the thing. People just, even though the first three ones,
were about that. To be fair,
yeah, it was nothing but about that. There was this tone to it, like why he's raging and everything. It was all seeking revenge and everything. But this is now he's now sought his revenge. He's got his revenge. He's now moving on, and he's found a new wife. Sadly, that wife passed away, but they had another kid. And yeah, and he's like trying to be the best father he can, but while also, I am also a man who has suffered and gone through all these things. Should I tell him these things? Should I tell him who he actually is, or should I tell him that my side and all like that?
Yeah.
And like, I'm sure it's going to explore even more into the next one because Atreus looks like he's getting like an angsty teenager, so he could get annoying in this one.
Also, like
he might need to get slapped. Kratos might have to slap him a bit.
And spoiler alert: if you haven't played God of War 2018 on PS4, I'm pausing for the people who haven't, so they can mute or whatever. I'll skip the next 20 seconds. But like, that's Loki, and we all know what Loki's like. Like
a nasty pain in the ass.
Like if you only know Loki from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, like, and I love Loki in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but if you only know him from that, like, he's pretty tame in those films and TV show, like, compared to, like, in actual Norse mythology. Like, it's gonna be an interesting game. That's all I can say.
Yeah, like I said last week, like, as much as I love the MCU, it has also damaged other sources of media where if you don't look like this, if it doesn't do this and it doesn't do that, we ain't gonna like it type of thing. You're just like, oh, shut up, guys.
Like Avengers, like the Avengers reveal, the game where it was like, well, they don't look like. Of course they don't.
Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Hemsworth, my husband, my future husband.
Hey, can I come over for like tea, literal tea? I feel like Chris Hemsworth and you would be like tea parties people. Just three of us just sitting around a table. So Chris, been in any interesting films lately?
What are we doing next?
When's the next Thor film coming out?
Actually, I think.
No, well, yeah. Yes, next year. But yeah.
I think it's next year because they finished filming, so. But anyway, yes, like just pasty white dudes. Stop being pathetic.
Yeah, I agree. Shall we? Hold on.
We shall. Yes, picture. Yes.
It's time for the
Hug up
NPD
here. Who's the
breakdown.
3% who pressed hug? Like, seriously, I want to speak to those 3%. Who said hug?
Well, no, like I was thinking about this, and there may be some ace people out there who still wanted to romance Steph, but we're just like, I'll hug. I get that. I get that now. It was a case of me projecting my feelings onto everybody in the world. Of just being like, I want to kiss this person on the mouth. Very, very badly. Like this. Let's break down the NPD for August 2021. The top 10 best-selling games of August of 2021. At number 1, Madden NFL 21. At number 2, Ghost of Tsushima. At number 3, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. At number 4, Humankind. And number 5, Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales. Number 6, Mario Kart 8. Number 7, Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. Number 8, Minecraft. Number 9, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. At number 10, MLB The Show 21. Ghost of Tsushima had a bit of a resurgence in October.
A little bit, yeah. But shout out! I know the joke was like when it came out, Miles Morales was the only game to play on PlayStation 5. Basically, it was the only PS exclusive and everything. But there's new ones out there and everything, and it's still in the top 10. That's amazing for an exclusive. That is fantastic. I know it's cross-play, you can play it on PlayStation 4 as well, but either way, man, you can see why. Literally, it's like when we were talking about last week about when the PlayStation show, I was saying like. Insomniac is basically Sony's throw everything at it and we're going to get your game out and you're going to do amazing. We know you are type of thing. They're the new Naughty Dog for Sony because we're going to get 2 new games out before Naughty Dog throws out their next one. We know this from bloody Insomniac, and that's amazing, and I can't wait to see what they do next.
We're gonna get Wolverine and Spider-Man 2 before Naughty Dog even gives us factions.
Oh God.
He's sad because it's true.
Congratulations to 8 of those games.
Yeah, Humankind I was surprised to see in the top 10.
Yeah, and especially as you've said some more right things about it, so I'm kind of interested. That might be my next game.
Well, we're reviewing it at some point in the future, so
yeah. So I need to get my finger out my ass just to get started on it.
I didn't hate it.
I know we aren't rushing. I know.
No. Yeah, but it's like you look at the calendar and it's like, ooh, the end of the year is fast approaching, isn't it?
Yes. I've got Pokemon coming. I've got these coming.
Yeah, shit. Look at all these
and
games.
I've got to throw in another playthrough of Life is Strange True Colors on my new Xbox when it comes in November. So I've got a lot to do.
Just one.
Just one. Yeah, that's true. Like that's true. Like I should just do it. Like on my days off for Christmas, I should just play it every day.
Yeah, you should. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
You play it like 10 times, and then we sit down and talk about it, and it's like, wait, you still have never romanced Ryan once. Every time I try to push the button, I just can't do it.
Yeah. I have a choice to get Steph to flirt with Diana or Ryan to flirt with Diana. I have watched Ryan's version. It's really cute and adorable. It's really funny. It's geeky as hell, but it's like, it's because she's so confident. She's just like, and I just love what the question, like what Steph Alex says. I think you've woken something in Diane.
Yeah, and that's all the Life is Strange spoilers I will allow. We've got a spoiler talk coming out tomorrow, so you should go watch that. It's 2 people getting surprisingly deep about life, and then also like just sharing all of the moments that we thought were amazing as well.
Oh God, yeah, that was the deepest I think I've gone for a while.
That was a very deep podcast.
Did that sound wrong?
That's the deepest I've gone for. Nah, I think you're fine. I can't think of anyone being able to twist that sentence into anything. So I think you could.
Thank God my partner's not a beer right now.
Oh wait, no, you. Oh. The top 10
Move
best-selling
along.
games year to date.
Move along.
Number 1, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. Number 2, MLB The Show 21. Number 3, Resident Evil Village. Number 4, Madden NFL 22. Number 5, Super Mario 3D World. Number 6, Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales. Number 7, Mario Kart 8. Number 8, Monster Hunter Rise. Number 9, Minecraft. And number 10, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So Madden NFL jumps in at number 4. Basically.
Congratulations to 8 of those games.
Yeah.
Shout out to all of them, like I said. Well, 8 of them shows up. I'm really happy for them. Resi's
still up. Still right up there.
Still right up there. I'm really happy about that. Super Mario World still ticking along. Miles Morales. Mario Kart is like the new GTA right now. It's just never going to die until GTA comes back in, October, when it releases on PlayStation 5.
Probably. Well, I don't know. Like, everyone seems sick of it at this point.
And then it'll hit number 1.
Then it'll hit number 1 because everyone lies. It's rule number 1. The doctor
That's
lies.
That's how sick of it they are. They got it to number 1.
Damn straight they did. Statista. Let's have a look at this. I want to check something. Can you talk for a minute?
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you go. I tell you now, you should check out our spoiler review of Life is Strange: True Colors. It is emotional. It's one of the best reviews I think we've ever done, especially as it's a spoiler. I had a lot of fun doing it, so come on out. Someone might have cried. Someone might have got deep. Someone might have just got right up in there and everything.
Someone might have cried, and it probably wasn't the person you're expecting.
And it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. And also, I'll just say right now, go and play Life is Strange: True Colors. Best game of 2021.
It's not a spoiler that you think that. We did a spoiler-free review.
Well, that's already out, so they should have already seen it.
So I'm pretty sure Resident Evil Village is already outsold Resident Evil 3.
Nice.
Based on what I can find, the last time it was reported was in July. It sold 4.5 million copies, and I'm pretty sure Resident Evil 3 is already sold 4.5 million copies. I was just trying to figure out if it had resold, like if it had outsold 2 as well, but I can't find that information.
Cool.
We'll find out at some point because they always bring it. Capcom are really open with their sales figures. The reason I was doing it was just because Village is really high on the year-to-date sales chart, like higher than I would have expected by August, given that the game came out May?
April?
One of those two. MLB The Show 21 as well, still at number 2. Like, Madden NFL 22 debuting in 4th was a surprise. But it's got the rest of the year, I imagine.
May. Yeah, you're right, May.
I imagine it'll creep up the rankings a bit.
Possibly.
Like, I'm sure I only played like 3 games in May. One of them was Resi, true. One of them was Returnal. And I think the other one was Knockout City. I played 3 games last week, Moody. I don't know what the fuck I was doing dicking around in May.
You're just dicking around, Amy. That's all you're doing.
So, yeah. I've got some notes pulled from Matt Piscatella of the NPD Group's Twitter. Madden NFL 22 debuted as the best-selling game of August, while also ranking 4th among the best-selling games of 2021 year-to-date. This is the 22nd consecutive year that a Madden NFL franchise release has been the best-selling title of its launch month. Congratulations. That's like that's basically the entire 21st century so far.
Go Sports.
Like, the 21st century and NFL has been the top seller of the month it came out. Ghost of Tsushima ranked as the second best-selling game of August after finishing at 110 on the best-selling titles chart in July. The launch of Ghost of Tsushima's director's cut for PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 drove the change. Makes sense?
Yeah, pretty much. Congratulations. I hear great things. So
Humankind ranked first among tracked PC titles in August spending, while placing fourth on the overall best-selling titles chart. Humankind currently ranks as the fifth best-selling tracked PC title of 2021 year to date. That game's in Game Pass, Moody. I just want to remind you. Like,
go video games.
it's selling incredibly well, but it's also in Game Pass. It's that thing that we've tracked throughout the last couple of years where it's just like you could put a game in Game Pass day one and it seems to enhance its sales rather than like screw them over. Nintendo's sorry.
No, I'm yawning a lot right now.
Okay. Nintendo Switch was the best-selling hardware platform in units during both the August month and year to date, while PlayStation 5 leads both time periods and dollar sales. And after 10 months in market, PlayStation 5 remains the fastest-selling PlayStation platform in history.
Yay, consoles.
The scary thing about PlayStation 5 is it's obviously not meeting demand. Like, there's more demand than there is supply. So, and it's still the fastest selling console in PlayStation's history. So it's like, oh
The crazy
shit.
thing is that because all the world has allowed one country to augment one chip and buy them from all of them, from that one country. That's what's the bad thing. Maybe if they create their own bloody one or whatever, maybe they could get them out faster. But no, we go all the way to China.
I can say the word if you want, Mooney. I can say the two words that I always say in every podcast at some point. That's capitalism. Speaking of not capitalism. Actually, yeah, we'll go with everything's capitalism. Arkane is actively investigating Deathloop stuttering on PC. This is from Andy Chuck over at PC Gamer, who writes, the critical response to Deathloop is almost unanimously glowing. It's got an 88% aggregate score on Metacritic. Yeah, the overall, you've got me on it now. Yeah, the overall user rating on Steam is, quote, mixed, with just 64% of more than 2,400 user reviews coming in as positive. The reason? A majority of the negative reviews on Steam complain of stuttering during gameplay. What's producing the stuttering isn't clear, but it hasn't stopped plenty of theories from circulating on Steam. Some guy went deep on why he believes it's a problem with memory write access errors, and of course an awful lot of players blame it on the presence of de novo DRM. Whatever the cause, it's helped produce, you know what? I don't need to read the rest of it. Bethesda are looking into it, Arkane are looking into it, it's a whole thing, it's a micro stuttering issue. On PC hardware, the reason I put this in and I wanted to bring it up was because the first thing everybody's blaming for this is de novo, the DRM software that we've talked about on this podcast before, which has negatively impacted the performance of games on PC. We had that infamous story of Sonic Mania when it launched on PC with de novo, and people were downloading cracked versions of the game that bypassed the de novo, and it turned out it ran faster. And it was funny because it's a Sonic game. But not funny for the people who legitimately bought the game and couldn't play it properly. But in this instance, this isn't a de novo problem. And I'm seeing so many people and yes, de novo is shit. And I wish companies would stop using it. But in this one instance, it's not de novo's fault. Sorry, PC gamers. The same thing happened in Dishonored 2, and I know that because I fucking bought that game on PC at launch and I could barely play it. It was going to be my game of the year. It was going to be my game of the year that year. I mean, it would have been my game of the year, but for the fact that it was fucking bollocks on PC. But it just got it on a console. I don't actually know. I legitimately can't answer that question. I had it on PC and I don't know why. I wish I hadn't.
Might have been game of the year for you then.
My first experience of Dishonored 2 was a bad one.
Oh, that sucks to hear.
Yeah, because it's such a good game. But yeah, it's just like the problem with this is, and the reason I bring it up is because if PC gamers on a whole like keep blaming Denuvo for everything, even when it's absolutely clearly not Denuvo's fault, it's going to make it harder to convince publishers not put Denuvo in their games, because instead of looking at all of the arguments against Denuvo and going, "Oh yeah, that's a good point. Actually, Denuvo does do all of this bad stuff," they're just going to see all of the noise, including all of the times you've been misled or you've been untruthful about Denuvo being the reason a PC game is fucked up when it comes out. They're just going to go, "Oh, it's just PC gamers being entitled." But it's not. It's not. It's not Denuvo's fault. Live with it, accept it, and move on.
Yeah.
Way smarter people than me have looked into it and gone, nope, it's not. It's the engine. It's the thing with the engine and the mouse and keyboard. Because if you plug a controller in, it's fine. I read a thread. I watched a Digital Foundry video. They know what they're talking about, so I just trust them.
Trust in Digital Foundry.
And I haven't had a single problem on PS5, which tells me, once again, that console gaming is superior to PC gaming.
Well, you can put them both together and again and slap by mobile, so.
Can't play Deathloop on mobile, Jesus. Oh, why did my battery go from 100% to 1? Why is my phone on fire?
Why am I still holding my phone that's on fire?
That was just a cutscene. Yeah, next up. Tales of Arise continues to soar, surpasses 1 million copies sold. This is from Jason Guzau over at Game Informer, who writes, "If you haven't played Tales of Arise, I haven't, and have a fondness for JRPGs, I do, then you need to secure a copy as soon as possible." I did! Besides, over 1 million other people have already done so. More than that, Tales of Arise is the fastest game in the franchise, the fastest selling game in the franchise to surpass 1 million copies sold, a feat that it wholeheartedly deserves considering its recent critical success.
Yay, video games. Way. Yay.
Where is it?
I've never played a Tales game, so I can't comment on it, so yay. I hear it's good, so yay.
You can celebrate the success of a thing.
Oh, I know.
Without having played that thing. I've played tons of Tales games.
Maybe when I get around to stop playing Life is Strange True Colors, I might try Tales.
Ooh, interesting. That'd be cool.
But Life is Strange True Colors is like right in my veins right now. It's like
that's fair.
Merging with me, and I'm becoming a different person because of it. So,
wow, holy shit! That happened to me once. And the end result is what you see before you. I say end result like I'm done, but I'm not done. No, it's cool. Like, they've completely revamped the Tales gameplay. Like, the gameplay is, from what I've heard from people who have played it, significantly different, while still feeling so. Like, it feels like Tales, but also it's very different from past Tales games, which is probably for the best. But the past Tales games, some of them have been spectacularly cool, like, stories.
yeah.
The last one that came out, Tales of Berseria, was brilliant. I really, really enjoyed that game. And I forgot I finished it. I thought I hadn't finished it, but I looked at my trophies on PlayStation, and I apparently did. So then I went back on YouTube, and I was like, did I finish this? And I watched the ending, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember this.
I remember that one.
I was like, I was convinced I hadn't finished it, but my PlayStation trophies were like, no, you definitely did. Here's the trophy for finishing the game. I was like, okay. And then, like, 10 seconds into the end cutscene, I was like, oh, yeah. And I was like, I really want to play this again. But I'll sell for Arise. I'll sell for Arise.
I thought you said her eyes there, I won't lie. Whose eyes, Amy? Whose eyes?
Nintendo Switch price cuts confirmed across the UK and Europe. This is Josh Coulson over at The Gamer, who writes, the Nintendo Switch's price has been cut for the first time in Europe, and it appears to be a permanent reduction. Nintendo Switch has been on the market for 4.5 years and continues to impress on the sales front. Earlier this year, Nintendo revealed that the console has now sold in excess of 89 million units worldwide. That already makes it the 7th best-selling console ever. In order to break the top six, the Switch will need to surpass 100 million sold and overtake the Wii. The console might well get a big boost towards that goal starting this week, thanks to a pretty hefty price cut. It was rumoured last week that the Switch would be subject to a price reduction in Europe for the first time since it launched. Those rumours have now been confirmed, and the console is just $259.99 on Nintendo's UK store right now. Quote, we decided that now was the appropriate time to change the European trade price of Nintendo Switch, end quote. Nintendo cited the OLED model and exchange rates as the reason behind the price drop. The OLED Switch, which will have a bigger and better quality screen than a regular Switch, as well as some other minor improvements, excuse me, Eurogamer, will be available from October 8th, 2021. It will retail for $309.99 in the UK. Minor improvements, Eurogamer. An Ethernet port is not a minor improvement. Should have been a basic fucking feature of the console. Like, I'm buying that dock. And then I'll be able to play online games to a satisfactory level. Because Moody knows, because we played Monster Hunter Rise earlier this year. He knows how hard it was for me to play that fucking game, because the Switch is a Wi-Fi fucking console. Talking about fucking minor fucking... I'm done.
About time. Like we all knew that the original was going to drop in price with the OLED coming out and everything, so they just got ahead of it and got it done. So yeah,
did it, done it.
I think that's
good.
Yeah.
If you're not going to be using the Switch in portable mode, like if portable mode is like your going to be like, and you don't own a Switch, is going to be like your number one way of playing a Switch, then you might want to get the OLED, because the biggest improvements, apart from the Ethernet port, are all to do with the screen, right? Like the screen quality. So, like, if you're a portable player, you might want to hold out for the OLED. If you're going to play it mostly docked and you don't need an Ethernet port like I do, you might be worth taking advantage of the price cut and jumping in to get a Switch now. Buyer's guide from Amy K. Alexander, because literally every fucker always asks me, which console should I get? Should I get this console? What game should I get for my 7-year-old who you know nothing about? Do I look like a fucking catalog? Like... But then you answer, right? You answer. We're on a tangent now. This is a tangent moment. You answer them, Moody. And you go, which console should I get? And you go, you can get this one. And then, I was thinking about getting the other one. And I was like, well, do that then. Why the fuck are you asking me? Get whichever one you fucking feel like. It really doesn't matter. Especially when it's PlayStation or Xbox. It's like, they're basically the same thing.
That is true.
Do you want a cool subscription service that you can play shitloads of games on? Get the Xbox. Otherwise, get the PlayStation. I don't care. Who cares? I was talking to Phil. We're on a proper tangent now. I was talking to Phil this week. Something came up where we ended up talking about Game Pass. And I've told him about it. He knows what it is. But like a game was going into Game Pass that I think he was interested in. Or was in Game Pass that he was interested in. He was like, well, what's this Game Pass? And I did the thing, and I got my phone out, and I went, this is Game Pass. And I started scrolling through it. It was like $10.99 a month. He was like, holy shit, that's an amazing deal. And I was like, yeah, it is, Phil. Imagine when somebody offered you a free Xbox like a year and a half ago, and you went, no, we don't want another console in the house. Imagine if you'd taken it. Could just be on Game Pass right now. And I think he finally saw the error of his ways. Remember when I was saying it took me like 6 goes to get rid of my Xbox? Yeah, Phil was like the first person. I said, like, do you want an Xbox? And he was like, no, thank you. It's
Are
free.
you crazy?
It's free. I just want it to go to a good home.
If you sell it, it's free.
Yeah, I just want it to go to a good home. And I gave it to my friend Ali, and like she got Game Pass. And like I get messages off her of all the games she's playing on Game Pass. I'm just like, it went to a good home.
6th time the charm.
6th time was the charm. Fucking losers who fucking said no, a free fucking Xbox. Like, I don't even know. I don't know. Like, how the fuck can you not get rid of an Xbox? Like, if you didn't have an Xbox and I said, Moody, do you want an Xbox for nothing? The doorbell would have rang like 20 seconds later. That's my tangent.
I didn't even know where you lived at that time.
Yeah, exactly. You didn't even know where I lived. Anyway, tangent over.
Smell the Xbox? You could smell the free.
You could smell the free Xbox. That's the difference. Northward. Windows 10 PCs can now stream console games on the Xbox app. This is from Austin Gosselin over at Polygon. He writes, the Xbox app for Windows 10 PCs will now let players stream console games on their computer thanks to an update that went live on Tuesday. The game streaming that the update enables will let Xbox Game Pass subscribers play games that their PCs otherwise might not have the specs to handle. According to Microsoft, playing games directly from an Xbox console with remote play will provide the smoothest experience, while using the cloud will be slightly more taxing but won't require a download. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscribers are currently able to stream games in browsers from their phones, tablets, and PCs, but the new option will allow streaming directly into the Windows 10 Xbox app. One thing that isn't available yet is streaming games directly to Xbox Series X consoles, but Microsoft says that feature's on the way later this year. The cloud option is limited to titles on Xbox Game Pass. Other games that players own may be streamed using remote play because the game is running on the console. Xbox is doing it, man. They're just setting it so like everything's an Xbox. This phone, it's an Xbox now. This Chromebook, it's an Xbox now. This PC, it's an Xbox now. This Xbox, that's a double Xbox. It's 2 Xboxes.
It has got double Xbox power.
That light, secretly it's an Xbox. This bottle, you think it's PlayStation? Look closer, motherfuckers. It's an Xbox. You yourself, you're an Xbox. Like, literally everything's a fucking Xbox at the minute. And it's great, thanks to this app. I love it. They're just making good on the promises that Phil was making over the last few years.
I agree. Setting themselves up into a very sustainable route, which is all that matters at the end of the day.
Yep. It's like, in fact, that tangent could not have been more beautifully timed, because it's like, Phil, I should clarify. When I said Phil before, I was talking about Spencer. My friend isn't Phil Spencer. My friend is a different Phil. But, like, Phil wants to play Game Pass games, right? Like, he doesn't need the Xbox that he refused because he's a loser. Like, he can just like, his Windows 10 laptop, his fucking phone. Like, he's got devices that he can play all of these Xbox games on.
Yep.
For $10.99 a month. With no issues.
Yep.
Like...
Until the internet goes down.
Yeah, but he lives, like, closer to the city, so I assume his internet's better than mine.
Probably.
It's cool. You don't even need an Xbox to play on an Xbox. What kind of world do we live in? It's like those things on the competitions where at the bottom it says no purchase necessary. But like if you want to enter, you do actually have to buy the thing. Except no purchase necessary. It's actually true. It's the one time true. No purchase necessary. It was true. Xbox. Everything's an Xbox. That should be your slogan. Phil Spencer. Phil, call me. We'll talk. Everything's an Xbox.
Everything's an Xbox, Xbox,
There's your theme
Xbox.
tune. Speaking of tunes, Life is Strange True Colors replaces licensed music with awkward silence in streamer mode. This is from Jamie Latour over at The Gamer. He writes, when a licensed song manages to sneak into a stream or video, it could wreak all kinds of copyright infringing havoc. This might include fines, bans, and other unwanted attention from the music industry. That's why more and more games are starting to include a streamer mode that removes any licensed music that could lead to a DMCA takedown. They may not always work, but it's a very welcome feature. Of course, removing music from a game can lead to a bit of unintentional awkwardness, especially if it's removed from a scene that's entirely focused on a particular song and your main character is stuck rocking out to absolutely nothing. There's a moment in Life is Strange True Colors where the protagonist Alex Chen is listening and dancing to some rad tunes with her brother Gabe. Thanks to the game's streamer mode, you don't need to worry about the music in this scene getting you into trouble. The downside of this is that this mode doesn't add copyright-free music or do something to fill in the gaps where the music used to be. All it does is remove the music and leave nothing but awkward silence aside from the foot-stomping sounds of these two characters dancing around like idiots. Well, yeah, we don't need to go into that last paragraph. Basically, it's as if I saw like everyone who's like streaming Life is Strange True Colors, and obviously we've both played it. And there's the moment in near the beginning of the game where they're rocking out to like air drumming and she's got the broom and stuff, and it's just so streamer mode takes the song out of that scene, but it doesn't replace it with anything, so it's just them doing it in complete silence. It's pretty fucked up.
The thing is about for this game, the music is one of its strongest elements.
That scene,
it's a very important. It's an important element to the game in general. It's music, so
that scene was like I took a picture of it and I texted you and I was like, oh my god, I love this. Like that was the first scene where I was like, oh my god, I love this. If it had been silence and them just dancing around, like I would have loved it for an entirely different reason. And I don't think it would have had the impact that the game was looking for, especially later on.
True. Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Like,
I'm meant to be crying right now, but all I can remember is
this
no music.
This scene with no music. And then I just start laughing, and it's like, oh, Life is Strange has lost me. Like, I think the fact that, like, you know, you run the risk of a freaking DMCA takedown because of a song that's been licensed, because it's obviously been licensed to be in the game, but because someone's streaming it, it's like, no, you can't do that. Copyright laws, like, it's fucking bullshit. But, like, on the next level down from that bullshit is maybe think of a slightly better solution than delete music entirely. Like, especially when, like, the music is pivotal to the scene of the game. Like, if you just don't have background music, like, in certain sections, then it's not ideal, but, you know, it's not going to affect the scene too much. If the music is the point of the scene, like, I mean, you need to think of something. That isn't just mute.
Yeah.
Because, like, that scene is part of an emotional anchor of the story. Like, it comes up multiple times. It's like throughout the entire game, and it's just like if that song's missing, it's like you kind of compromised an entire, like, a part of an entire story arc for the entire game.
Yeah, true.
It's a great moment though, for those of us who didn't stream the game. But
like, I was tempted to, but I was literally thinking, oh, we'll get flagged like crazy. So
the channel will be gone by the time you finished episode 1.
Yeah.
Always knew something was going to take us down. Didn't realize it was going to be indie rock. Hayley Atwell cast as Lara Croft in Netflix's Tomb Raider anime. This is from Marcus Stewart over at Game Informer. He writes, Netflix announced it was developing an animated Tomb Raider series back in January, and now we know it will be an anime and who will be voicing Lara Croft. Hayley Atwell, whose roles include portraying Agent Peggy Carter in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, will portray the iconic explorer. In addition to Marvel, Atwell's credits include 2015 Cinderella, Christopher Robin, and the upcoming Mission Impossible 7. As for the show itself, Netflix still hasn't divulged plot details or a premiere date, but confirms Lara's next adventure takes place after the events of Crystal Dynamics' Tomb Raider reboot trilogy, which concluded with 2018's Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Atwell will be the third actress to portray this version of Lara, following Camilla Luddington, who voiced Lara in the reboot trilogy, and Alicia Vikander, who portrayed a live-action take on the modernized Lara in 2018's Tomb Raider film.
And again about Angelina Jolie.
Different take on the character.
They were just still Lara.
Now, Atwell will be the third actress to portray this version of Lara. It's a different version. It was the old version. Angelina Jolie was Lara Croft, though. Those films weren't great.
No, they weren't.
They weren't great. Why did you make me remember them? What did you do that for?
Because I think it's unfair to forget about the previous incarnation.
Why do you hurt me? But we're talking about the current incarnation.
Okay.
The article was very specific.
Well, I'm very specific at the same time.
God damn it, Moody. Now I need to look at my phone again. It's your fault.
Well, I suggested you look at it.
Tomb Raider will be written, and these two things don't cancel each other out. One good thing and one bad thing. You still did them both. Tomb Raider will be written and executive produced by Tasha Hugh, The Witcher, Blood Origin, and Red Sonja. Wait, there's a Red Sonja movie? Wait, hang on. Everything needs to stop here. It's one of several video game adaptations Netflix has in the works. The company has greenlit a new Castlevania series starring Richter Belmont, a Witcher anime, and a Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon anime. There are also rumors that a live-action Pokemon series and a Dragon Age show are also in development.
Hayley Atwell's awesome. That's all we need to know.
This is like the perfect casting.
Yeah. Check out the Agent Carter, not Agent Carter, What If, where she plays Captain Britain or Captain Carter. She's absolutely awesome in it. It's a little disappointing that they aren't bringing back like the reboot with Camilla Lunington as it's an anime. I was thinking it's a little disappointing for that, but like I guess you want to get someone in, quote unquote, more established and everything. Like get a voice behind it, get a person behind it who has some back. Has a following and everything. No offense, bigger than Camilla's. I can understand why they would want to do that. But yeah, Hayley Atwell is awesome either way. So great.
Well, I mean, they're doing a sequel to that Tomb Raider film, right?
I believe so. When it's out, I haven't got a clue.
Maybe she's just busy. More important, I mean, Hayley. I was talking to Patrick, my friend Patrick, on Twitter, where it was just like, "Hey, Hayley Atwell is just fucking perfect casting for Lara Croft." But like, I didn't know they were making a Red Sonja film. So double thumbs up. I don't know how I feel about a Dragon Age thing, like, because I'm just reading the rest of the article where it's just like, hey, there's rumors that there's going to be a Dragon Age show. It's like, I don't know how I feel about that. Can I have the games? Bring the games back. Which one would it be about? Yeah. Like, would it be its own thing? Would they redo Dragon Age Origins? I don't know.
9 times out of 10, they do their own thing. They don't follow the norm.
Meh. Speaking of meh, Ikea's gaming range launches globally next month. This is from John Porter over at The Verge. He writes, Ikea's lineup of gaming-themed furniture and accessories now has official pricing and a global release date, October. The lineup first came to China earlier this year as a collaboration with Asus and its Republic of Gamers brand. Pricing for the lineup ranges from cheap desk accessories like a $10 cup holder or $12.99 mouse bungee, all the way up to gaming chairs costing between $69 and $349 and a $599 standing desk. Oh, and a wooden hand designed to gently cradle your headphones and other accessories, that'll set you back $24.99. There are more than 30 IKEA gaming products in total, arranged across 6 product families. However, only one of these product families, Upspell, contains products designed in collaboration with Asus. The rest are IKEA originals with designs, quote, based on the insights and knowledge gained from the collaboration to meet the various needs of gamers, end quote. Much of the range just looks like normal IKEA furniture given an aggressive black makeover, but IKEA has a good track record of making affordable. Do you know this is just devolved into an advert for IKEA now? No, I'm not reading that. It's a black. It's very black. Yes, the furniture is indeed black.
All right.
I just thought it was funny.
Okay, getting into the gaming to try and do furniture. What a surprise.
I thought it was funny. There's a hand. You can buy a hand to like hold stuff. It's like a wood hand.
I have a hand that holds stuff. It's not wooden. But...
I have a hand that holds stuff. It's called a desk.
Yeah, that's true. That's
like,
true.
It's weird, but these surfaces, these desks, these shelves, they were built to hold things. That's what they do. But apparently, the problem here, Moody, is you see the problem of a dumb wooden hand thing is at some point I am gonna buy it because it'll be too funny not to, and then I'll just have this wooden hand. 2 weeks ago, I started a podcast in 8-bit glasses and a Pikachu hat.
Yeah, where's the upgraded clothes you said you bought?
I ain't buying any. I haven't got any yet. Watch this space.
Watch this space.
You saw the pictures of everything I got. The thing. Yeah, you saw the pictures. Like the closest I got to like upgraded dress thing is this.
Yeah, you should have just glued them to you.
Just it lives here now. Just like going to work, trying to do my day job. Just like it's my jelly.
Admit it. You'll get a better conversation.
It's true. It's my jelly bean.
Jelly bean indeed. Let me jelly bean into games out next week, ladies and gentlemen. Starting with Kenna Bridge of Spirits, PC and the PlayStations. Story-driven action adventure combined in exploration for fast-paced combat as Kenna players find and grow a team of charming spirit companions called the Rot, enhancing their abilities and creating new ways to manipulate the environment. Sheltered 2 PC, a brutal survivor management simulator set in the post-apocalyptic wasteland. Keep your faction of survivors alive, maintain your shelter, and scavenge the ravaged world for resources. Befriend and trade with factions you meet or conquer them by force. Sable, PC, the Xbox, and the Game Passes. Embark on a unique and unforgettable journey and guide Sable through her gliding, a rite of passage that will take her across vast deserts and mesmerizing landscapes capped by the remains of spaceships and ancient wonders. Ember, PC, fight fires for fun and profit in an unpredictable and frantic multiplayer game. Team up with friends, take on daily challenges, and climb to the top of the corporate firefighting ladder. More than one way to become a hero. The Medieval Dynasty PC. Hunt, survive, build, and lead in a harsh Middle Ages. Create your own medieval dynasty and ensure the long-lasting prosperity or die trying. Teacup. PC, PlayStation, the Xbox, and the Switch. Teacup is a short and wholesome narrative adventure game with a focus on exploration and non-linear progression. Help a small shy frog on her journey to find the ingredients she needs for her tea party. And last but not least, Lost Judgment, PlayStation, and the Xboxes. Lost Judgment puts players in the sneakers of lawyer turned street fighting detective Takayuki. What? Can you say that name for me, please?
Takayuki Yagami.
Takayuki
joined
Yagami.
by his partner ex-Yakuza Masaharu Kaito.
Thank you. Crime fighting duo is called on to investigate in the seemingly perfect crime whose lead suspect has an airtight lead suspect has an airtight alibi. What starts out on a tale of revenge reveals a tangled web of conspiracies involving several unlikely factions taking advantage of a broken law system. That sounds like normal. A broken law system. What a surprise.
Sounds like the first game. No, that's a bad thing. I love the first game. Three things stuck out on me while you're reading this. Number one, Lost Judgment comes out on Friday. I thought I had more time. Number two, Ember looks like fun, and I feel like we should give it a shot on stream if at some point in the future, because it's dumb fun. Foxes was talking about it when we were, I think, podcasting or something.
He left. So.
He's not dead to you. Come on, that's not true. Don't. It's fine. It's okay. Do you need to talk to this? You can talk to the jelly bean. It's fine.
Yeah, pass me the jelly bean.
I mean, I don't think it'll fit.
Jelly bean, like, why did Foxes leave us? Like, I thought we had a new thing. Thought we were going to dominate the world and everything, and he just left us.
It's okay.
I thought he loved us. He went back to Tom Cruise like he always does.
He does. What?
That's an old Glorious Movie Show podcast joke.
He does still love us. It's just he couldn't do the podcast anymore. It's okay. I'm here for you. Number three, that stuck out at me was Teacup sounds awesome.
Yeah, sounds interesting. There's no doubt about that. We'll see what we can get to.
Yeah, well, it's just short, so you know. Thumbs up.
I like short games now.
I like short games. I mean, yeah, right.
Anything that's under 10 hours, I'm sexy for that.
Right.
If I can get it done in a day, I'm like, oh,
I might be becoming that gamer who's just like, nah, I can't do like 60-hour games anymore. Like, sorry.
That's why I'll probably never touch Lost Judgment, especially when after you playing it and you say it's awesome, and after you play Tales of Arise and you say that's awesome, I was like, that's fantastic. I'm probably not going to play it because it's like 30 to 60 hours long, and I'm like, no way, I'm going to time
investment. Yeah, it's such a time investment. Like these games at the moment, like, hey ho, what are you gonna do? It's time for OpenCritic Head to Head. This is the game we play every single week where we try to guess the OpenCritic average of one upcoming game. Whoever guesses closest to the score gets a point. If you manage to guess the score correctly, you get 2 points. Last week, we tried to guess the OpenCritic average of Deathloop. I guessed it would get a 90. Moody guessed it would get an 88. And at the time of recording, Deathloop has an 88. That puts the scores at Amy 17, Moody 16, Fox 6, Keith 10 with 2 draws. Moody, I have time. I'm going to do it. I haven't done it for so long. I'm going to read all of the games out. I guessed closest on the medium, Werewolf, Fallen Legion, Revenant, Bravely Default 2, Oswald, Soulstorm, Near Replicant, Knockout City, Biomutant, Disgaea 6, Defiance of Destiny, The Ascent, and 12 minutes. I also guessed the scores correctly for F1 2021, Naraka Blade Point, and Psychonauts 2. Moody has guessed closest so far this year on Little Nightmares 2, Maquette, Modern Dawn, It Takes Two, Returnal, Resident Evil Village, Mass Effect Legendary Edition, Necromunda, Hired Gun, Life is Strange, True Colors, and Lake. He's also guessed the scores correctly for Stronghold Warlords, Monster Hunter Stories 2, and Deathloop. Fox has guessed closest on MLB The Show 21 and Chris Tales, and guessed the score correctly for Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Keith guessed closest for Outriders in his one appearance on the show in 2021, and some idiot gave him a 10 times multiplier. And the 2 draws were Hitman 3 and Monster Hunter Rise. This week, we're guessing the OpenCritic average of Kena, Bridge of Spirits. Moody, what do you think Kena, Bridge of Spirits is going to have on OpenCritic by this time next week?
Idiot.
Fucking dickhead. It's just the default fucking answer at this point, isn't it? Like, 88. Why do you say it? I don't even need to ask. Why do you say 88? Because literally every other fucking game gets 88 these days. That's it. That's the answer.
It's also the PlayStation exclusive. I know it's coming to PC and everything, but it's a PlayStation exclusive. And it looks absolutely brilliant. And it's like 8-10 hours long apparently. And I'm
Who
thinking
knows?
that sounds
Don't know.
sexy to me. No, I'm pretty sure it's been reported. I think I'm not sure, but
We've got time.
yeah.
How long is Kena Bridge of Spirits? Amber Labs has said that Kena Bridge of Spirits takes between 8 and 10 hours to finish. All right. That's dev math, so it's a 6 to 8 hour game.
Yeah. Well, 5-hour game.
Dev maths is all you see. The
That's
thing
even
about
sexier.
yeah, that's just still
For me.
pretty sexy. But I'm just pointing out, like devs always like say longer than it actually is. Sorry, it's just the truth. It's just fact.
Yeah, you've gone to every corner of the game. You've checked every tree.
Yeah. I put 87 because I'm playing Day. I took your number and I just minus one off of it. Because I was going to say 88. I was going to make a whole joke about that. My whole joke was going to be like about how, well, that's what every other fucking game's got, but you just went 88 and ruined it. So 87 because every game gets a fucking 88.
Why?
Something's going to get above 90. Something has to get above 90. Something has to break. It's like something's got to break through that barrier at some point in 2021. It's got to happen. It's got to happen.
You would hope so.
I believe, Moody. I believe in video games.
I think there's one. And I think it's a game that you have.
Metroid Dread.
Forza
Horizon.
I think Forza Horizon will probably get at least a 90.
That's fair.
And then Final Fantasy End of Walker DLC will come out and get a 91 for me.
In January.
No, it's coming out in November.
Sure is. It's like Dying Light was coming out in December.
Yeah.
Sorry, what? I'm doing that thing again.
Not being annoying.
Yeah. I mean, you can't say I wasn't right, though. That just made it more annoying, didn't it? Horizon. It's not coming out this year. But they said it's coming out this year, but it's not coming out this year. But they said it was coming out at the end of the year, but it's not coming out at the end of the year. I hate being right, but at the same time, it means I don't also have to find time to play Horizon. Like, the funny thing is, you took your headphone out at the point where you would have agreed with me. So that's just really funny to me. Like, at least I don't have to find time to play it. On top of everything else.
Yeah, that's 2022 Amy.
That's
and Moody's
2022 Amy's problem. Finding time to play all the games that got delayed. Holy fuck. Like the first gaming week of 2022 is like Elden Ring and Pokemon. Like, what the fuck? I've never had to like make such a horrible choice in January. What the fuck? That's it. Do you have anything you want to talk about? We've got a few minutes.
Nah, I'm good.
Let's get the fuck out of here then, because
Let's get the
I'm
fuck
very
out
hot.
of here.
You can see the stupid ring light makes it so you can really see the sweat on my forehead. That's gonna do it.
I can start like the Strange True Colors again.
I can play Deathloop. That's gonna do it for the episode, whatever I said it was, of the Words About Games podcast. Moody, I'm sure you've got something to close the show out with. I don't know. That look on your face is not encouraging.
Of course. Which
It's gonna be a Life is Strange quote, isn't it? Yeah, of course I have. Holds phone up to camera. It's a Steph fan cam.
A new week has begun, so here's some positive momentum to start your week. With the new week comes new strength and new thoughts. Remember, you are awesome and you are truly precious.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you. Say bye to the jelly bean.
Bye, Jellybean.
Before it gets ripped in half by Erica.